The MicroStrategy infinite money glitch is taking over, but not for the reason that everybody thinks. It is not because of what the Bitwise report went into or what Michael Saylor tweeted out himself today, saying that Bitcoin is better than the Magnificent Seven. No, no, no. It is for another reason that I'm going to get into later in this video. But first, let's go over the report that was shared by Bitwise on how the MicroStrategy strategy, now known as strategy, is taking waves on to everybody in the publicly traded markets. So, this report lines out that there is a growing number of companies with Bitcoin on the balance sheet, including 688K total of Bitcoin, valuing over 57 billion, like the GOAT, and that there are 79 publicly traded companies. Of course, we've got MicroStrategy, now known as Strategy, with the highest amount, bringing in a bunch of that. But the big thing that they lined out here is that the FASB rule is in effect, that companies can hold Bitcoin at fair value, and that MicroStrategy rebranding as Strategy, purchasing 7.7 billion more in CB and BTC, MetaPlanet, also Semler Scientific, and GameStop, all mentioned in this report, at least from this flyer here, as to why we are seeing more and more companies start to pull on to Bitcoin. But of course, it is not because of what Michael Saylor and Strategy lined out here, where, hey, the strategy is to beat the Magnificent Seven. No, no, no. I think it's what Bo Hines and the United States government have been talking about, buying Bitcoin and finding budget neutral ways to buy more Bitcoin and making massive amounts of traction for it. So let's listen into Bo Hines on some of the tactics that they're planning on using in order to purchase more Bitcoin.
How are you guys, maybe from a framework standpoint, thinking about, okay, what are the ways that we could go buy more Bitcoin?
Well, I think that Senator Lummis has really an interesting idea with the Bitcoin Act of 2025, which I know has taken the community by storm. But here, what you would do is you'd revalue the gold certificates that we currently have at Treasury, most of which are valued, I think, around like $43 an ounce, which is,
a lot lower than what it's really worth.
Correct. Yeah. So now we're sitting at what, $3,100 an ounce, with being the price of gold. And if you took that value, what you could do is use that extra funding in order to buy more Bitcoin.
So you heard it here first. Bo Hines lining it out. They could just revalue gold and buy more Bitcoin. That seems pretty easy to do. And it seems like it could happen very, very quickly. Well, I think publicly traded companies are really looking at what is going on in the United States, just like everybody around the globe is. They are tuning in to what is going on here. They're seeing the massive amounts of companies now start to come on. Now, look at this. This is not too long ago. 34 companies. What did this report say? 79. So literally, between the two here, we've got literally a doubling of the amount of total companies now with Bitcoin on the balance sheet. And this is exponential growth, just as Bitcoin's returns have become exponential. So this is going to continue and continue to push over and over and over again. And I think that is why we are starting to see more companies really start to line up and put Bitcoin on the balance sheet. We are seeing the United States government openly talk about putting more Bitcoin on the balance sheet. There's competition from every angle. The tariffs are coming in. The tariffs are cutting everything down. The tariffs are doing all these wonderful and maybe terrible things at the same time. Who knows? But within all of this, the reality is there's more and more Bitcoin companies putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet. And in fact, the Treasury seems to still be getting bigger and bigger. The ETFs keep scooping up as much Bitcoin as possible. They have well over a Satoshi now. We've got, now the countries having half a Satoshi, with over 500,000 coins. Publicly traded companies, this number is a little less than what we got. Oh, no, it looks to be exactly the same. 688, no, 688,000. Now it's reported 694,000. There's private companies with 400,000 Bitcoin. I mean, the list goes on and on here, folks. Look at the percentage of all of these. We're seeing, we're seeing those start to increase and increase rapidly. Companies that have been banking on the Bitcoin the most include two of the largest, MicroStrategy and Tesla. These guys have continued to buy more and more Bitcoin and continue to stack and stack and stack. And I think that Bo Hines and everybody is seeing this as well, because he said something interesting a little bit after this. So let's get back to this great podcast here.
That could be used for the reserve. But that's just one idea. And, that's currently circulating its way through Capitol Hill, and we'll see how many co-sponsors she can get and how she can pull her colleagues on board. But we're looking at many creative ways, whether it be from, tariffs, whether it be from something else. I mean, there's literally countless ways in which you can do this. And, I'll defer to, some of our members inside of the interagency working group to see what ideas they come up with inside of their own shops. But we'll look at everything. Everything's on the table. And like we've said, we want as much as we can get. So we're going to make sure that no stone is unturned.
Yeah, so you heard that there, right? They want to get as much Bitcoin as possible. No stone unturned. They're looking at potentially saving money from the tariffs to do this. They're looking at every single way under the sun to scoop up as much Bitcoin, because Bo Hines said it in that interview. They want to have as much Bitcoin as physically possible. So this is going to continue. And because this is going to continue, this is also going to continue. The rise of quarterly Bitcoin holdings by publicly traded companies. This is going exponential, folks. We're really starting to see this take off. These companies are all lining up under the sun in order to buy more and more Bitcoin. And now we've got Elon back under Tesla and not necessarily getting distracted with the Doge. So maybe we'll see Tesla start to buy more. Block. Jack Dorsey has been openly talking about Block potentially buying more Bitcoin. And, for say what you want about Coinbase, they should be holding some more for them, right? But, you can't force, you can lead a donkey to water, but you can't force them to drink, right, folks? But either way, people are taking notice to this. This is the chart I think that everybody should be really looking at least publicly traded CEOs, right? Because at the end of the day, publicly traded CEOs, their number one mission, is to always provide value to their shareholders. So what does that entail, basically? What did that really, put forward here? Well, what that does is it shows, hey, putting Bitcoin on the balance sheet, finding as many ways as possible to put Bitcoin on the balance sheet. Well, would you look at here, the Magnificent Seven doesn't even get half the return that MSTR gave last year. So, as Michael Saylor said, there is a strategy to beat the Magnificent Seven, and it is simply the Bitcoin strategy, putting Bitcoin on the balance sheet. So this is accelerating. More people and countries and companies are looking to put Bitcoin on the balance sheet. Let's face it, dead companies, Metaplanet, Strategy, these companies were absolutely dead. Now GameStop, they're all looking to put Bitcoin on the balance sheet. Why are they doing that? It gives them more time, more runway. It allows them to figure out other ways to operate and make money. Look, at the end of the day, Amazon, it's a beauty, right? One of the biggest companies in the world. It's also on here as well, part of the Magnificent Seven. It lost 2% in value last year. But what is Amazon's story? Amazon's story is Jeff Bezos. Obviously, everybody knows him, but they didn't make money as an online library for years. The first time they actually started making money was when they founded Amazon Web Service, AWS. And that has become their real breadwinner. And that is why you've seen the massive returns in Amazon over time, is because of what Amazon has been able to do. But what all through that, they were funded through venture capitalists, and that allowed them to lose money year after year after year after year. Well, Bitcoin really allows you to continue to do that, and not just lose money, but allows you to get more runway, because you're not holding cash on the balance sheet that is going to erode away, right? So let's see what everybody's got here. I barely caught this live stream. It's late for me here, 10 p.m. Hey, it's late for me as well, folks. It's 10 p.m. as well. So McLovin is the man. Yes, you do know that he is the man when he's in the chat room. Yes, I do live shows. I don't have a daily time for them, but it's variable. I'm sorry. I'm coming to you guys late because I've been busy all day, and I wanted to tell you guys all about this story and give you guys some sats here too. So stick around, because I'll be doing that here shortly. McLovin said, I never thought I'd see people talking about Bitcoin at the White House. People aren't bullish enough. Amen to that, man. I always am saying that. So, when we're seeing things like that, right? When we're seeing multiple billion-dollar corporations, or multiple, billion-dollar corporations, and money managers that have billions of dollars under management, talking about Bitcoin and talking about releasing literally a report on this, talking about some of the key developments, it really makes you bullish on what is going on here, right? We're seeing all of this continue to skyrocket up, and everybody keeps chirping me for every time I do it. It's the skyrockets in flight, but I will refrain from that. Maybe you guys will have to come to another live stream in order to see that. And McLovin, I appreciate you guys having the notifications on so you don't want to miss anything, because I really guys think you guys should smoke the like Cheech and Chong, and hit the subscribe button with the bell notification so you guys know when I go live, because I've always got some surprises cooking for you here in the chat, because we've got the best place to buy Bitcoin. And in fact, they give you free Bitcoin every time you buy Bitcoin. And I'm going to be giving you some free Bitcoin as well. So get your Lightning wallets ready, and let's get some sats here from the Bitcoin well with the wishing well. So the psychopaths over there, every time you buy Bitcoin, they allow you to sign up, buy Bitcoin, and every time you buy Bitcoin, they give you a wishing well token so you can win Bitcoin as well. And so would you look at that? We got another 210 sats straight to the dome piece. So absolutely electric. So if you guys want, you can go to the link in the description, or go to bitcoinwell.com/greencandle. And if you guys are looking at this Bitcoin price, because I know I am, let's go here. Let's go scroll down bitcoinwell.com/greencandle. And we're looking at Bitcoin price of $83,000. Look, if you want to buy some Bitcoin, go to their Bitcoin Well Infinite and buy over the counter OTC. Get yourself some 50K or more of Bitcoin all at once. Do that, because look at this price, folks. 83,000, almost 84. With what we are seeing, what we are lining out here, it's absolutely insane, right? It's absolutely nuts. We are seeing Bitcoin at $83,000, $84,000. And we just had a full-on interview with a director in the White House describing ways that the White House is discussing to buy Bitcoin. And we still have Bitcoin at $83,000. I think that's absolutely insane. I think we should be well higher, right? And, I gave you guys some stats from Bitcoin. Well, one of the great things about it is it's purely self-custody. And I think everybody should be storing their Bitcoin in a specific way, and that's by themselves, self-custody. So I've partnered with Bitbox. They're great. You can go get Bitbox 02. I prefer the Bitcoin only edition. You can do that all. You could get the punch plates, everything there. If you go to bitbox.swiss/green candle, you could get all of that, and you could get 5% off with the promo code green candle all in one. So you could get everything you need to get Bitcoin in cold storage. You buy it on Bitcoin Well, you store it with Bitbox. You look at this fat, juicy price of $84,000. You smash buy it as quickly as possible because they are coming for your sats, folks. The people in corporations are coming for your sats. They're looking to scoop up as much as possible, right? They are looking to do that. And the White House is looking to scoop up as much as Bitcoin as possible. So what do we got here going on in the chat? What's a realistic MNAV when Bitcoin takes off? Man, I'm not quite sure what you mean by MNAV here. So maybe I'll have to reframe to all of that. But McLovin, the GOAT, says, yeah, I really appreciate Brandon and Luke. They closely follow adoption. That's the most important metric in my opinion. Well, thank you, McLovin. You're the best. I always love seeing you. Your ugly mug in the chat. I'm just kidding, but I always love seeing that, McLovin, the GOAT. But yes, it's all about adoption and education. Mike, my goodness, stay awake with us, brother. I'll try to wrap this up. I don't know. Maybe I'll keep you guys on longer. I'll get Mike all loopy in the chat. But like I said, we're seeing countries and corporations look at this. Michael Saylor has lined out the strategy here. He's lined out what we all have known for quite some time. And he's really doing it, right? He's really been utilizing every single way possible in order to get, more and more Bitcoin under the MicroStrategy balance sheet. Now, you guys need to watch this latest interview that I had with Peter Dunworth. He's absolutely electric. If you guys haven't checked it out, I know it's coming to you late, but come on and let's go watch this as soon as you guys can. Oh my goodness. I'm really feeling the love tonight. Ecology Only saying we love you. I love you guys too. The guys in the chat, you guys and gals in the chat are the best. This is why I come and do it for you here every single night, even coming to you late at 10 o'clock p.m., right? Flipping tables for Green Candle. There we go. Let's flip some tables. Let's get hyped up because we're seeing a ton of Bitcoin come on. So Mike, he says, personally, I expect it to get to 3, but will likely drop off quick, fast. So let's go. I appreciate you guys. Smoke the like Cheech and Chong. Hit the subscribe button, bell notification so you guys know when I'm going live. And go directly to my interview with Peter Dunworth if you want to get more bullish. Thank you guys all for tuning in.